everybody. Welcome to the next episode of Community Driven, where we are bringing you people within our community who are doing great things and helping out our community. I'm Kevin Strosnider, your host, and we are coming to you from our grand studios at 5200 Oak Lawn Boulevard in North Prince George. I've got Mr. Tom Wagstaff from the Historic Hopewell Foundation here with me today. Excited to bring him to you. Thank you so much for being here
Thank
today,
you for the
Tom.
invitation, Kevin.
Absolutely. Tom has been he's on several things, which he'll tell us about, I'm sure. Several things within the Hopewell area, but from what I understand, a very avid lover of the history of Hopewell and history in general. So looking forward to hearing from you this morning. So if you would just start off by telling the viewers a little bit about yourself, a little bit of background on you.
Oh, my background. I actually started working for a nonprofit in the mid 80s. I'd served on the Red Cross board in Richmond, and it got me interested in nonprofits. So I had an opportunity to go to work for a nonprofit. I thought I'd stay there a couple of years and move on to something else. I retired after 30 years, 14 years as CEO, and I really learned to love nonprofits and what they can do in the community. Yeah. We were a community action program which helps lower income people get out of poverty with all kinds of programs. And it's really, matter of fact, we're the community agency in the city of Hopewell.
Really? That's
really
awesome.
But on the Economic Development Authority here in Hopewell, I've been on the Social Services Board in Hopewell. I've been on the American Red Cross Board, and basically that was Richmond, and a couple of other appointments in the city of Richmond when I lived up there. And I love this community. It is a fantastic area to be in.
Yeah.
But several years ago, Dave Harless, when he was at Historic Hopewell, asked me if I'd serve on the board, and I said, okay. I didn't realize he planned for me to take over from him. Found that one out.
That's funny.
But I really enjoyed it there, and we have a fantastic board and volunteers that you would not believe that come in all the time. That shop is open 7 days a week. Wow. And I've a bad habit of calling it the shop because that's what we call it there. It is actually a boutique.
Okay.
I say this at our concert series when I introduce the bands, that if you can find 3 items in that gift shop that say Hopewell, Historic Hopewell Foundation, or Western Manor, I'll give them to you. No one's ever taken me up on that offer.
Really?
But ladies, if you want to find some fantastic fashions, that's where you need to go.
That's cool. And
it really is.
Where is the
gift shop, the boutique is right beside Historic Hopewell's beautiful manor house, which is 400 Western Lane, right off 21st Street.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So tell us a little bit more about what exactly is the mission of the Historic Hopewell Foundation and
to preserve historic properties and improve the access to historic properties in the city of Hopewell. We have one we do not talk about very often, but I don't mind talking about it. There is someone in the Richmond area who gives money to Beacon Theater. You may not realize that Beacon Theater is not a nonprofit. It is an LLC.
Yeah, I do know.
Because they sold their tax credits during the renovations.
Yep.
So they are not able to give this person a historic tax credit. We are able to take the money, give them the tax credit they need, and give the money to preservation of Beacon Theater, because that's part of our mission.
Okay.
To preserve historic properties in Hopewell.
Okay.
And that building needs a lot of work.
Yes,
any historic building, it always needs work.
It does. It's a great venue. I love going there.
It is a great venue.
In fact, headed to there for my daughter's dance recital in just a little bit. But yeah, it's a great venue.
I'll be there Saturday for the Old Dominion Barn Dance.
I got you. Okay.
And I really got to push in for the Old Dominion Barn Dance. My Optimist Club that I belong to in, unfortunately, Richmond. One of our members happens to be the general manager. And every year we do a concert series, just one concert, using the people from Old Dominion Barn Dance. They are fantastic, and it's to raise money for cancer research.
That's awesome.
They all pitch in, and it's just absolutely wonderful event. It usually occurs here in Hopewell.
That's great. That's great. What other properties? So we know Weston Manor, and then you said Beacon Theater. What other properties in
We actually did just sell last year Dennis Chapel, St. Dennis Chapel.
Okay.
We got to the point that we could no longer maintain the historic property. But we were fortunate. Someone who loved history bought it, loved historic properties. She has restored it as a home.
Oh, wow.
and it is fantastic inside.
Mm-hmm.
It is great to see historic properties reused.
Yeah, absolutely.
Instead of just letting it go to waste. It really was historic. It was built right after the Civil War as a Catholic chapel,
Okay.
and it was used as that.
That's neat.
So we were very proud to get rid of it and
Yeah.
go to some good use. But then we have our historic manor house, which was built in 1789. A lot of people do not realize that our builder's wife was a member of the Randolph family.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So it was this great tie-in with Rappahannock's Manor. And the house was built, like I said, 1789, and it's been occupied ever since.
Wow. Where's that at?
1400 Weston Lane,
Okay.
right off 21st Street, across the cemetery.
Gotcha.
We've been very fortunate. The apartment complex that is behind us,
Mm-hmm.
the owner decided not to expand anymore and gave us all the remaining property.
Really?
Really,
Wow.
several years ago. So that's a great asset for us. And right now, we will announce at y'all get it first. At our annual meeting, the plans for our new event center.
Where is that?
It's going to be on Weston Manor property,
Okay, on the property.
overlooking the beautiful Appomattox River.
So tell us about that.
Okay. It's being designed by Dan Robbins, who a lot of people will know is an absolutely fantastic historic architect and builder. He does an unbelievable job. He invited me and one of the other members of the building committee down to his home in Dinwiddie to show us the arches that he was using in this property.
Wow.
And it is going to be an unbelievable asset to this city. We do host a lot of events, very reasonable cost. We are not high dollar stuff.
Yeah.
We believe in people being able to afford something.
Yeah.
And this is going to be a top-notch event space that'll be reasonably priced.
That's awesome.
So the community can use it more. And we'll use it for our own events.
Yeah. Yeah.
And coming up, we start our Lunch and Learn series.
Okay.
Now, I'm not a native of Hopewell.
Mm-hmm.
I lived in Chesterfield, grew up in Chesterfield. From Chesterfield, I stayed in Norfolk when I got out of the military, went to Old Dominion. Then I moved back to Richmond. My mother died, and we had a summer home in the Outer Banks.
Mm-hmm.
And my father decided that I spent more time there than I should.
Uh-huh.
He was paying the bills. So he said, let's sell the house and buy something else. So we ended up buying a house in Prince Charles City, right across the river.
Yep.
And I was living over there, and I started coming to Hopewell. I belonged to Kiwanis Club first. I joined that because they'd asked me to speak one time about community action. So I joined the Hopewell. And then I started saying, my father passed away, and I said, I got this big house here. Even though he did not live there, he still lived in Richmond. I said, it's way more than I need. So I started looking and found a house in Hopewell I liked and moved here.
There you go. How long ago was that?
I've been here going on 13 years.
Okay. Okay.
And it's a wonderful town.
Yeah, it is. And a ton of history.
Yes, everywhere you turn.
It really, truly is. I was just, I happened to be at a business meeting at the boathouse last week and having lunch with people from outside the area, and I was telling them about the history and the rivers and everything, just all the Civil War history and everything, and they were just amazed. Couldn't have blown away how much history is in this area. Yeah. So to that point, what's been here for 13 years? What's one of the neatest things that you've discovered about this area?
I got two that comes to mind just very quickly. One of the pontoon planes that used to land here at a contest with them, and the other one, there was an airport at Jordan Point called Hopewell Airport.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely. My grandfather had an airplane there.
See,
Years ago. Yeah.
It's amazing around here, the things that happen around here.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, we start our series next Wednesday. Wednesday starts at 12 noon at the American Legion. You can buy your lunch, bring your lunch. We're not picky people. We're easy to get along with. The actual meeting starts, most people get there a little early so they can eat. And we have great speakers. That's where I learned so much of this history stuff.
Yeah.
And it may not be Hopewell history, it may be somebody else's history, but we had we called it a one-off. We had one last month one of our speakers last year wrote a new book about all the prisoners of war that came back to the United States and worked. And a lot of the people there actually were rented out to farmers or other people that would, help with war production.
Mm-hmm.
And so many of them loved it. Now, they made them all go back to Germany at the end of the war. But so many of them had fallen in love, but they came back and got married, and they're still here.
Yeah.
Their kids are here, their grandkids are here.
That's interesting.
It was really he wrote a nice book about it, and it's the type of things you learn.
Yeah.
I mean, I've learned so many. Jeanie Langford always starts a series and always ends the series. And she's always coming up with something. I ask Jeanie all the time, okay, one of the first ones that I went to was a tumbling bus that Hopewell had.
Uh-huh.
And I ask her every time, are you going to tumble for us? She says, no. But when I was still working, they were doing one about Peter Francisco.
Uh-huh.
And I had an intern at that point from Washington League for the summer. Mm-hmm. And so I brought him down to see it. And I currently live on Peter Francisco Drive.
Okay.
So I had a real interest in it. And the speaker said, well, his grave plot is in a cemetery, but it's not in the best area of Richmond. And I looked over and said, yeah, 3 blocks from where I work. So I went back and took him up to the cemetery, and we actually found his grave.
Wow.
Because somebody told me about it I didn't know it was in Richmond. I didn't know it was in that cemetery.
That's crazy.
But you find out this information, and you enjoy finding it out.
Yeah, absolutely.
I find out something new and exciting at almost every lecture.
That's awesome.
They're free.
Yeah.
We do provide beverage and cookies and things like that for dessert. If you're going to come, they start right at 12:30 and go to 1 o'clock.
Okay.
We have lunch and eat that.
Gotcha.
Sometimes a little longer.
Yeah.
And it's fantastic. Also coming up is our spring. Summer. It's hot.
Yeah.
It's hot.
For real.
Last Saturday in July is our Reverse Raffle.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been doing this I think this is our 14th Reverse Raffle. It is actually just a big party.
Yeah.
It really is a big party.
Yeah.
Something about we serve margaritas.
That makes it more of a party.
Real party atmosphere.
Uh-huh.
And it is a reverse raffle. We draw the winning ticket first.
Yeah.
Lock it in a little lock box. And every 5th drawing wins a prize.
How many tickets do you sell?
We only sell 200 tickets, maximum.
Uh-huh.
And the prizes range from up to $3,000.
Okay.
And we're smart little people.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't win any drawing, your ticket goes back into another box, and after the grand prize is awarded, we have another drawing for a consolation prize of $1,000.
Oh, wow.
And it's just a lot of fun. We have music, plenty to drink, barbecue. It's just a big picnic and a party.
Yeah.
Right on the river.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah.
And you said you agreed to buy your first ticket, right?
We'll talk.
Never miss an opportunity.
I know. You gotta always be closing, right?
That's right. You got got a whole group out here doing that.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Do you know the history of Strosnider Chevrolet in Hopewell?
No. But I know founded in 1966.
1966, yeah.
It's not on your shirt, but the girls had on their shirts.
Do you know where we were located in 1966?
Probably downtown.
It was downtown. There is a building there currently. In the old Hardy's building, current Hardy's building. The current Hardy's building was the old showroom that my grandfather bought in 1966. And where the Omega Bar was the used lot. And they were right across the street from Broy Hill Ford.
Yep.
And in 1968, he built this building. And we've been here ever since. So
well, then you appreciate the fact that I developed, as part of my working, gun cotton.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And you realize that building had been an automobile dealership.
I did not know that.
Yes.
No.
The research going back showed it to be a dealership right at the beginning of 1920.
Wow, okay. No, I didn't know
when
that.
it really was rebuilt after downtown burnt down.
Yeah.
I actually still have the documentation at home.
Wow.
It gave me a set. It's so funny about Hopewell is you look at a building and said, "Oh, I wonder what that used to be."
Yeah.
And you find out, and dig far enough, you can find out and go like, "Wow."
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's neat. I love going and looking at the old buildings and think about the time, what it was like in those days, and Hopewell used to be a thriving area. There's a lot of commerce, a lot of growth in the area. So yeah, it's neat to see. I know y'all have been doing a lot in the restoration side of things, correct?
We do. We try. I mean, it's hard because some people think because it's old, it's historic.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you don't need 35 homes that look the same that are historic.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you save some.
Yeah.
I have a friend who actually owns a Sears house.
Okay.
When they were doing some remodeling, they pulled some stuff off right at the top of the stairs, and it had all the Sears information right there.
Really?
Yeah, some of the stuff is so neat.
That is neat.
And you think about, you know, the history of this town, and that's why we called it Gun Cotton when we built the coffee shop, because of the fact of gun cotton and how dangerous gun cotton really truly is.
Yeah.
So, I mean, town would lose a business, like DuPont, they would leave, but the town would recover.
Yeah.
And it's always been that way. And that's what's so nice.
Yeah.
It's a small town. It's got some big town stuff, but small town feel.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you're only 20 minutes from Richmond.
That's right. It's one of the best places. I mean, literally, you can be in downtown Richmond, 20 minutes at the airport, 20 minutes. It's very convenient. When I tell people where you're literally in this area, you're on the edge of 20 minutes one way, you'll be in a big city, and 20 minutes the other way, you'll be in farmland. And
That's great.
So it's
go down 460, Route 10, Route 5.
Yeah. Even down 95 South.
Yeah.
you're go down 95 and you're in the middle of country. Well, cool. Do y'all have any big projects coming up? Things.
Thank you for bringing that up, because something I was going to mention. Some of you have been in Weston recently know that our pier, we tried to close it, but doesn't do as much good because just people just go around and still use it. But we've been very fortunate. One of our board members gave us $30,000. Virginia American Water, I hope that's the right name, just gave us $70,000.
Oh, wow.
And Johnny Parton, out of his Ward 3 fund, gave us $16,000 for renovations. We're not going to tear the pier completely down. Otherwise, we'd have to be new standards. But we can still. There are still a lot of posts that are real good. We're going to remodel the pier. And our next fundraiser, besides the new building, new pavilion, will be to replace the steps.
Wow.
And that is used by so many people.
Oh, yeah.
That is the only place in Hopewell that you can actually fish basically in the channel.
Really?
Because the channel is so close to the end of our pier.
I remember. I'm trying to think of how old we were. I couldn't have been more than somewhere in the 8 to 10-year-old range. Mom and Dad took
12 years ago.
Yeah, right. Mom and Dad took me and my 3 brothers, so all 4 boys, and went down to the pier, and we did family pictures, and she did pictures of all of us as we were, growing up. And
we have so many people that use the grounds. Now, if you're a professional photographer, we will charge you. But amateurs come out. You'll see them coming out. They'll be out all kinds of ones right now because of graduation.
Yeah, absolutely.
A lot of family photos taking graduation out at Weston. We're happy to have them there.
Yeah. What other neat events have happened out there?
Well, I tell you one that did not happen there. It happened at Hopewell High School. Last year, the drama department put on a play on the history of Hopewell.
Okay.
And we financed it.
Okay.
And it was it was a musical.
Really?
Yeah. We actually have the high school kids come out at different times during the year. Real often they come out and do a little presentation around Halloween. We do have a ghost or two.
Yeah. I had vaguely remembered that. I wasn't going to bring that up because I couldn't remember if I was right on that, but I vaguely remember that. Isn't there someone that supposedly like a lady that shows up in the window or something? Yeah.
I've never seen her, but
I vaguely remember that.
And I had been over there at all kinds of weird hours at night. One of the things people don't think about this, but yes, we do spend a lot of money on that house. When repairs were made in the last, 50 years of the 20th century, they tended to use Portland cement. Portland cement doesn't mix well with old brick. It causes them to scale, which turns white and they kind of flake off.
Gotcha.
So we replaced a massive number of bricks about 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Also, one really funny, somebody might remember the earthquake we had, probably 15 or 20 years ago.
Yep.
That was elsewhere.
Yeah.
It got one of our chimneys.
Really?
Really. We had to take the chimney down to the rooftop and rebuild it.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And I actually, the masonry we were using, had all the scaffolding. Oh, come on, Tom, you can come up here. I got up there and said, nope, that's time to go back down. Tom was daring to do things, but Tom ain't going to stay for so long.
That's funny. That's funny.
But it's stuff that we do to keep that house up.
Yeah.
And in the attic, it's where you can really see, or the actual, we call it the summer kitchen, that's the basement.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You can see the timbers that built that house. When you go up the steps or anywhere, interior steps, or a lot of things, you can see the tar under the steps.
Wow.
They actually put tar on the wood to keep insects from getting in the house.
Ah, okay.
And it's really cool because you don't have any,
Yeah. Yeah.
It
worked, huh?
How about Mrs. Hopewell? We probably have ants this time of year.
Uh-huh.
They come out in force.
Yeah.
But there, no ants.
That's crazy.
It's amazing.
It is really neat. There's obviously we've had huge advancements in technology and our understanding of what works and doesn't work over the last 200 years. But it is extremely neat when you see things that they were what we would think of as beyond their time, and the things that are still standing because of how well they were built and how well they were made and that stuff. It's neat to see that and to see it in person.
One of the first things I noticed when I was introduced, I have to think about my first introduction to Historic Hopewell.
Okay.
That cedar shingle roof.
Mm-hmm.
The shingles came in about this wide.
Uh-huh.
We cut them by hand.
Oh my goodness.
And we actually used to hatchet.
Uh-huh.
That's how I got involved
Uh-huh.
and got to know them. And took a little jigsaw and rounded the ends.
Mm-hmm.
So but when I started touring the house, there's an interior stairway going from the summer kitchen to the main floor. And I kept wondering, how does anybody ever carry food up this? The house had a dumbwaiter in it.
Mm-hmm.
The dumbwaiter is still there, but the portion of the basement has been taken out because it was right in front of the door.
Oh, wow.
But you can see it in the dining room. Maybe open the closet in the dining room. And you're going, they had a dumbwaiter back then.
That's crazy.
And we're talking, this house is 240 years old,
Wow.
25 years old.
Wow.
And you're going,
Yeah.
this house was built at the very end of the Revolutionary War.
Yeah. That's amazing.
And it's still standing. And it's still in good shape.
Yeah. It's absolutely amazing.
It is.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about any of the people that since they were closed. The Boreal family actually gave us Weston Manor.
Really?
Really. They owned it.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's very, very interesting. It's so it's neat that when I was in school growing up, history meant nothing to me. I couldn't care less, honestly, about history. All I really cared about was playing soccer. But but the older I've gotten, the more I've grown to love history and grown to really recognize the true value of not only learning the history but preserving it and keeping it, because the old saying, those who don't learn from history are doomed to repeat it.
Did repeat.
I think to me it's the neat part about just seeing what people went through and the struggles that they had, and just imagine 240 years old. They didn't have they built that house with not a power tool, not a air nailer, not nothing. It was all by hand.
They're all by hand, and things that fit together. Going like, how did they do that?
I know. It's absolutely amazing.
I have been very fortunate. One of the local families adopted me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a bachelor, and so we've started going on vacation, for at least one vacation a year.
Mm-hmm.
And we've, for some reason, known only to us, and I don't even know myself, and I make all the arrangements, have hit northeast U.S.
Okay.
We've been to Vermont 2 years in a row.
Mm-hmm.
We've been to New Orleans and gone through their stuff. We've been to Boston, all of the major areas up there.
Yeah.
And so many historic houses we've toured, and you go in and say, how did they build this?
Yeah. Yeah. It truly is amazing.
It is. I mean, I have had the privilege of touring Poplar Forest, which of course was Jefferson's summer home. It wasn't that far from his regular home.
Yeah.
But it was, that's where they did things. And they were working on it. So we got to see a lot of the structure of the house.
Yeah.
And it's just amazing to me how they could do this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And come up with these ideas. And, and my mind is just boggling. How do they get something that well made?
Yeah. Absolutely.
When you look at the modern houses now that they throw up
yeah. Oh yeah. I've never looked into it, but I'm sure it had to have taken quite a significant amount of time to build that. You have any idea how long it took to build Weston Manor?
No, I really don't.
That would be interesting to know.
The Dozens might know. I'll have to ask one of the Dozens.
That would be neat.
Well, I did find what was really funny. We were getting ready to work on St. Denis. Everyone's always spelled it Dennis. And that's what most people would think.
Yeah.
Well, I was looking up something, some old documents, and it actually was spelled Denis. It was named for a Catholic saint.
Really? That's interesting.
Yeah, and even everybody in Weston said the same thing.
That's
It's the old stuff that you find that, we'd been calling by the new version of it, and it was actually named for a saint from like 1600s.
Wow. Wow, that's amazing.
It's amazing what you can find in history.
Yeah.
And there's so much of it. Again, I just want to talk about real quickly Lunch and Learn, because some of the stuff they come in and talk about, you would never have thought about.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they bring up something that may not be just, matter of fact, we get a lot of stuff from Prince George, Petersburg, a little bit from Denver, a little bit Charles City, Chesterfield, about what went on around here.
Yeah.
And it's just amazing how much of our history was here in our backyard.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I listened to a gentleman one time talk about he's a local lawyer, I believe, if I remember correct, how the name Disputanta came to be. Have you heard that before?
No.
Disputanta obviously being in Prince George County, but local history and how these two opposing families wanted to name this property, this area after. I want to name it after this king. I want to name it after this prince. There's Prince George and there's King William and there's all this different stuff. And they were arguing so bad that somebody came in and said, you know what, I'm going to settle this. We're going to name it, since you are having a dispute, we're going to name this Disputanta. And that's where it came from, that they could not agree on what they were going to name this area. So they named it Disputanta.
Oh, that is
because
fantastic.
of the dispute between these two warring families.
That's things happen.
Oh,
and
yeah.
History is absolutely fascinating.
It is. It truly is.
I have, shouldn't say this, but I've been to Bosnia 5 times. Worked with reconciliation between Muslims and Christians. And their history is just war. Well, at least around here we have seen that we got through the Civil War, got over that. We suffered greatly for that. But the history around here is so fascinating to me.
Yeah.
I love to visit old houses. It used to be, I was the same way. Oh, I want to go see an old house. I've seen enough old houses.
Yeah, yeah.
But now when you go into somebody's house, I mean, Lincoln's only surviving son was Todd. He became president of a railroad, had lots of money, Lincoln didn't have any money, but, it seemed to start way back then. If Preston's family, let's get wealthy here. And he has a house. And it was just amazing.
Yeah. And
you go to it. And I've also learned, if you can find a place that offers a behind-the-scenes tour, take it. Like Biltmore. Yeah. I did a behind-the-scenes tour. And one of the things I still find fascinating about that was they have a slate roof. And it's tied with little pieces of copper. But it looks like twist ties because the copper has corroded to the point that it's blank.
Oh, wow. Wow.
And so we went up that roof and you looked at them, and then they start telling you, no, that is actually copper.
Wow. That's amazing.
And we're like, wow, something, these little tidbits you find in the life is interesting.
It is. It truly is. It truly is. Well, that's neat. I'm happy to know that there's still people out there that are trying to preserve that history. We need to preserve it. We need to remember where we came from and what has happened in our history, whether we like it or not, whether it was good or not. It doesn't. That's not.
We can't change the past. We can look at it to try to improve the future.
That's right, 100%. But one of the worst things we can do is try to erase it and forget about it.
Yeah, that doesn't work.
We need to remember where we came from and what has happened in our history, and see the neat things and learn from it and grow. And so it's great that you and the Historic Hopewell Foundation and all those volunteers, the board, and everybody that y'all.
They're all volunteers. We have one paid staff that works part-time.
Really? Okay.
Part-time, and we talked about the boathouse. I should have done that then. Mm-hmm. The ladies, wow, they're these wonderful women. Mm-hmm. They would put on fashion shows. Uh-huh. They did one at the boathouse and had 95 people show up for lunch.
Wow.
Now, you may remember that the boathouse is actually financed by the Economic Development Authority, which I'm still Secretary-Treasurer of.
Okay.
So Kevin Haley and I know each other real well.
Uh-huh.
And he was just fascinated because they usually have just a small number of people coming for lunch.
Yeah.
But they had 95 people show up for a fashion show at the boathouse.
That's awesome. That's amazing.
That shop they've got such unique stuff in there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, men don't bother. I mean, yes, you can go buy stuff for your wife. Yes, and your girlfriend.
Uh-huh.
But you ain't gonna find anything for yourself.
That's funny.
Bunch of women. They're wonderful. Uh-huh. They are wonderful. And actually, we're doing something really different this year. We had an opportunity. Several board members. We lose board members mainly because they're getting old. Mm-hmm. We're an older board. Mm-hmm. And we had an opportunity. We were approached saying, would you be willing to put 2 young ladies in one board seat? Mm-hmm. So we thought about it, and I talked to some other people, and we agreed to do it. Mm-hmm. So we've got 2 young ladies. Will be effective. They'll be elected in June, and will be effective July. And they've already got all these ideas of new fundraisers and how to improve things and get younger people there.
Yeah.
We discovered. Reverse Raffle does real well because we drink a lot. Uh-huh. But we have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And getting more people there. And it's the idea, we're trying something different.
Yeah.
And we're really excited about this one.
That's awesome.
We're really excited to see, how they do. And they've all come up with, more ideas we can handle.
Yeah.
But that's good trend.
That's great.
And our concert series, we do a concert series in the spring. Mm-hmm. Starts at the end of May.
Yep.
Goes through June. Then it gets really hot.
Yeah.
And they're free on the lawn.
Okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah. Matter of fact, Magnolia's played every year.
Uh-huh.
We have some great bands. Of course, we have Virginia Weather, so.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You never know what's going to happen.
Never know what's going to happen.
That's right.
But it's amazing because since we're not public, mm-hmm. i.e. a public park, which has very strict regulations, if you behave yourself, you can bring your own wine and beer.
Okay.
Bring your picnic lunch, mm-hmm. picnic dinner, bring snacks.
Yeah.
We used to cook food for everyone, but then we decided that we were getting old and we just do food trucks now.
That makes sense. Does make things a little easier.
Yeah, it does make it a whole lot easier.
Yeah.
But that's a fun thing too. We try to use the property as much as we can.
Yeah.
Our Christmas party is legendary.
Yes. Yeah.
As long as you're a member, you're the invitation.
Yep. That's awesome. That's great. So, well, Tom, thank you so much for being here and for what you do. It's great. We need to keep that going, and hopefully maybe you've encouraged some other people to say, you know what, maybe I need to
just please come out and see it. Oh, the Reverse Raffle is a blast. Uh-huh. I said, it's so much fun that I even have fun. We all have to work.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's just a great place to be for fun.
That's great.
It's a great house, a great boutique. Mm-hmm. We do have 2 dependencies that are built. The summer kitchen, mm-hmm. That's when you really learn how slaves actually lived.
Yeah. Yep.
And they cooked on a big, huge fireplace.
Wow.
And
Wow.
it's just, and we should, like I said, start construction
Yeah.
late this summer.
That's great.
And we'll be doing a fundraiser, asking everybody and Hopewell and everybody else we can find.
Yeah.
I must say that Joe Morrissey, when he was in the Senate,
Mm-hmm.
and Kerry Corner, who's still at the House, thank goodness,
Mhm.
both got $100,000 grants for us.
Oh, wow.
So we got $200,000 from the state to get things started.
Uh-huh. Well, good.
So that, yeah, that's just a drop in the bucket.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure. I could only imagine.
But we'll actually have restrooms.
There you go.
Instead of porta potties, we'll have restrooms.
Well, Tom, we're going to wrap things up
Okay.
here real quick.
Oh.
So I got 3 questions to wrap us up with, and then we'll finish up here. So first question is, now I like to do a lot of developing myself as a person. I don't want to just sit and rest on my laurels as to where I'm at as a man, as a Christian, a husband, a father, a leader in our business. I want to always grow and better myself. I do a lot of reading. Some people do a lot of reading. Some people do other things where that have caused them to grow. What would be something you would say is either a book or maybe something else, an event that has caused you to grow significantly in your life?
Strangely, it's the same event multiple times. How is that for an
Okay.
answer?
All right. Yeah.
I've been very fortunate to be we have I'm United Methodist, so we have a bishop.
Okay.
And I have attended the annual conference for 15 plus years.
Okay.
And that I've learned more about the United Methodist Church and about our views on, helping prisoners, helping foreign, third world countries.
Mm-hmm.
All this mission work we're doing, like I said, told you before we started, I'm going to Cuba in August for my second mission trip there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that has changed my life to see how it was bad enough going to Bosnia.
Yeah. Yeah.
But when you go to Cuba, it's no longer a third world country. We were probably a fifth world country now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And to see how much the United States has let something so close to our shore become, now, the communist regime is long gone, but the Chinese are there.
Mm-hmm.
And, this is very close to our shore. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the United Methodist Church has taught me to think about other people and not worry about what I'm doing for myself.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's great. That's great. If you had this whole area giving you their attention, all of Hopewell, Prince George, Clone Heights, Petersburg, Charles City, Verina, Chester, Matoaka, Surrey, Sussex, everybody was in this area, and they're all standing there paying attention and chanting, Tom, 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 Tom. You got 2 minutes to give them a piece of wisdom. What would that be?
We're all created equal.
That's a great piece of advice. I mean, we need to love each other no matter what. Yeah, it's a great piece of advice. All right, last question. Probably the most important question. What is your all-time dream car?
A what?
Dream car. Your dream vehicle. It doesn't have to be a Chevrolet. It's okay.
Well, I've had 2 Corvettes, go past that one. My all-time dream car, Rolls-Royce convertible.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Might as well be,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Older one?
no.
No, newer one. I've seen one Rolls Royce in my life in person.
Well, I've seen lots. I've been to Europe a couple of times, so I've seen lots, but
It was a bait, and it was beautiful. Black on the exterior, cream interior, absolutely beautiful vehicle. My goodness, what a beautiful vehicle.
well, tons of years ago, I worked for a company called ADP, who did auto dealer services.
Yep, I know them.
A dealership in Florida. The guy owned probably 15 or 20 dealerships. All the general managers got together at Christmas one year and bought him a Rolls Royce.
Oh, wow. Wow.
They were not cheap dealerships.
No, they must not have been.
But you could dream big, dream big.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I don't know who I'd ever remove a thing, probably could never get out of the garage.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's neat.
But I love my 2 Corvettes, but I'm too old to get in and out of them now.
What year Corvettes do you have?
Had a 77 and a 79.
Okay, all right.
Many years ago.
Yeah, gotcha.
My parents bribed me to come back to Richmond, giving me a Corvette.
Uh-huh. That's funny. That's funny. Well, Tom, thank you so much.
Well, thank you for
being here.
having
I
me. It's
really
been great.
appreciate it. Thank
I know
you.
I kind of rambled on, but I enjoyed myself a lot.
We do have a little gift for you. A little thank you for.
Wait a minute. Is there a Corvette down here?
No Corvette, no keys. Thank you for joining us. Please support the Historic Hopewell Foundation. Am I saying that right?
You did.
Historic Hopewell Foundation. Support Tom and all their whole group and what they're doing to preserve the history of our area, but also to just preserve the idea of history and of loving the love of history and what it means to us even today. So thank you so much for joining us, and we hope to see you next time.